Chapter 4, Developing Topics for Your Speech. The learning objectives are distinguishing between purpose, central idea, and main points, differentiating between a speech to inform, persuade, inspire, or entertain, writing a specific purpose, writing a thesis or central idea statement, and distinguishing between acceptable and unacceptable specific purpose and central idea statements, and composing appropriate speech purpose and central idea statements. So, getting started with your topic and purpose. So, one, focus on your general purpose, the broad overall goal of a speech. The very first thing you have to do when deciding on your topic is know what your purpose is. For our class, I typically assign that purpose. You're either going to inform, persuade, or entertain. So that makes it a little easier. But other times in your life, when you're giving a speech, you need to know what your purpose is. Choose your topic. So, how do you choose a topic? What I would encourage you to do is to think about you. Think about what your interests are. Think about where your passions lie. Think about what knowledge you have. Think about maybe what knowledge you don't have, but you've wanted. You've wanted to look into this more. It's been interesting to you. Then think about your audience. Think about college students, other people taking college courses. What all do you all have in common, even though you may be coming from very different parts of life? Some of you may be full-time students, part-time students. Some of you may be adults with families that have gone back to school. Some may be in high school or right out of high school and college. But think about what, no matter where you are in your life, what do college students have in common? So always think about your audience. What are their needs? What information could be beneficial to them? But in a class like this, the first thing that I encourage you is to think about you and what you're comfortable talking about and what you're passionate talking about. Then determine your specific purpose. Your specific purpose is an infinitive phrase that builds upon the speaker's general purpose to clearly indicate precisely what the goal of the speech is. So with your specific purpose, it will lead you to your central idea statement. As you're thinking about your speech, you're thinking about you. What do you know about? What are you comfortable talking about? What are you knowledgeable about? You're thinking about your audience. You're thinking about their needs. You're thinking about what type of information could benefit them. You're thinking about the context. Okay, where am I talking to these people? How much time do I have to talk to them? What is the situation that has led me to give this speech? And then you're thinking about your specific purpose. Okay, I know today I'm talking to inform, or I know my purpose is to talk to persuade, or I know I'm supposed to be entertaining. And then finally, you're getting to your central idea statement. You've wrapped all of that up and you're going to write a sentence, a statement that clearly outlines for your audience what are you doing in this presentation today. Specific purpose statement. What do you want to do? What do you know? What are your interests? What are you passionate about? What is your purpose? Are you informing, persuading, or entertaining? Who is your target audience? Think back to the audience analysis like we spoke of a few minutes ago. What are the needs of your audience? What information can you provide to your audience that will ensure their interest? What is the context? Why am I speaking where I'm speaking? How much time do I have? What is my purpose for being here? So putting a specific purpose statement together, think of the specific words to inform, persuade, demonstrate, explain, entertain, etc. What are my specific words I'm using? Who is my audience? So are they classmates? Are they coworkers? Are they a group? Are they a club? Are they an organization? And why am I speaking to them? What information am I speaking to them about, rather? Here is your information, your topic, and your main point. So let's put all that together. When you have specific purpose, content should be singular and focused. So when you're writing your specific purpose statement, we want to be very clear what we're talking about. You don't want to have multiple layers to your topic. You don't want to have multifaceted steps that you want to persuade a series of things. You want to have a singular focus to what you're talking about. Content must match the focus of the purpose. So the information that you're sharing, every bit of research, every bit of evidence, every main point, everything in your speech must match the purpose of your speech. If your purpose is to persuade, all of the information that you gather is leading to that purpose. If your purpose to inform, then all of the information is building upon that goal to inform. Your purpose and content should be relevant to the audience. How is the information that I'm providing today relevant to my audience? And I need to connect that to them in some way. So here are examples. So if you're giving an informative speech, this purpose statement: to inform my classmates of the origin of the hospice movement. In this sentence, we know the purpose, we know the audience, and we know the content. We're going to inform, that's the purpose, classmates, the audience, content of the origin of the hospice movement. An example for persuading: I'm going to convince my classroom audience that they need at least 7 hours of sleep per night on a regular basis. I'm going to entertain my classmates with my summer adventures. So if you notice these examples, they show your purpose, the audience, and the content, the topic. So formulating the central idea statement. It's the same thing as a thesis statement. In this class, I call it a thesis statement. The central idea statement is essentially the same as a thesis statement. However, when you're talking about the rules that you're given in English class for your compositions, it's looser, it's much simpler when it comes to speech. What I always tell students is, think about this. When you're writing an English composition, our language tends to be complicated. Sometimes our thesis statements are really complicated. They're wordy, they're long. We add a lot of extra words to sound even more sophisticated than we are. But remember that when you're writing a composition, you're writing for a person to read it. When we're reading something, we have the ability to reread if we don't understand something. When you're writing a speech, you're writing for the ear. So it's very important that our language is simplified, that when we're writing a central idea or a thesis statement for a speech, that it's very simple so that the audience hears it the first time and it's very clear to them what we're trying to accomplish in the speech. It might be called central idea, thesis, or main idea. For me, I call it a thesis statement. The specific purpose and central idea are connected, but they're not exactly the same. I think they're more similar than this textbook says, but you'll kind of know what to do as we go along. And I think they can be combined often. So a specific purpose is to explain to my classmates the benefits of participating in a semester-long internship. A central idea statement: spending a semester working for a local company or nonprofit will have great benefit now and in the future. You will gain experience for your resume, learn about your field, and make connections with employees. Excuse me. So this central idea statement tells you, from the specific purpose, what the purpose of the speech is. And then the central idea statement further exemplifies what the purpose of the speech is. And if you notice here at the end, you have your main points of your speech. So problems to avoid: covering too much material. You may need to revise your specific purpose after some preparation. Think L or T rather than A through Z. So sometimes students try to accomplish way too much in their speech. Sometimes I think if you're really interested in your topic, it's very hard to edit the information that you get. But remember that you want to give enough information for your audience to get what they need, but overloading them isn't beneficial. Too much of a narrow focus that your audience loses interest. Sometimes you may have just too specific of a topic that it's not interesting to your audience. Not matching the verb and the specific purpose with content. If you're going to inform, don't also try to persuade. More problems to avoid: when the specific purpose statements has two parts. If you find yourself saying you are going to list this and that, then you need to simplify what your purpose is. Have complete sentences. Don't ask a question as part of your purpose statement, and avoid subjective or slang terms in your purpose statement. Speech veers away from the topic and specific purpose. Sometimes I think, again, this happens when students are really passionate about their topic and they find information and they want to get it in the speech, but it really doesn't fit. Then we get a little off track with our information. So make sure everything that you have in your speech is focused back to the purpose that you have in your speech. Be aware of all class instructions. If you're not sure, please ask. Be flexible. You may need to make revisions to your speech as you practice. Beyond that, I would also say be flexible on your topics and your main points. There are sometimes that we choose our topic and we choose our main point, but our research does not support what we want to say, or there's not enough research to support what we want to say. If that's where you're being led, it's fine to change your topics. If you're worried, if your new topic fits the assignment, always ask me. But I am okay if you get to a point where you're like, this topic doesn't work for me. I don't want you to force it. It's your grade, and we want to make sure that you're comfortable with that. So make sure to be flexible as you go through the process. Message me if you have any questions, and that's all for Chapter 4.